When it can't nobody hold it. We winning, yeah. When it can't nobody hold it. We winning, yeah.
You see a situation in Larry Hoover where back even last year, Kanye West was vouching to get him out, grant him clemency, get him out of the situation because 6 life sentences seemed very, very harsh and very extreme for a person that just is currently serving 46 years behind bars. So J.Prince spoke to him. It was a very powerful conversation, even though it was very brief. And then the caption he dropped was even more powerful. So I can't wait to talk about it. Oh, God, if you got that queued up.
Which college from a federal prison?
They don't think that we had the brain power to evolve from one state to another. You know, once you get classified in one state, then they won't let you evolve. You know, I've done this and I've done that, but I'm trying to do something else now. It ain't about that, you know.
Right.
They act like I'm on the streets, fighting on the street corners. You know?
Crazy.
The shit that you did in 64 and shit.
And they witnessed so many change. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I really, from the way they come at me, I think they really come.
Audio right there. J.Prince on the phone with Larry Hoover speaking to him. I could really barely hear that. I heard some of it, you know what I'm saying, but I heard the gist of it. But let me read what he said right here under the caption of the video. He put the conspiracy to destroy our black leaders is live and in effect in 2019. Our brother Larry Hoover is speaking from a place of experience, being incarcerated for 46 years and almost half of those years in solitary lockdown in inhumane ADX Florence Supermax Penitentiary, where slavery and human torture is still legal. Recently, Mexican drug lord El Chapo was accused of distributing billions of dollars worth of cocaine in the U.S. and sentenced to 1 life sentence. Terrorists that participated in 9/11 and other terrorist acts against the United States of America were also sentenced to 1 life sentence or less. So there's an example of racism at its finest by sentencing Larry Hoover to 6 life sentences just to remind us that our lives have no value in the eyes of racist people in power. It's a hate sentence, not justice. This is why growth and development in every aspect of our culture is important. The time is now for us to unite against the strongholds that are against us. And then he puts to be continued. J.Prince, powerful message right there, saying, man, what's your thoughts on that? What J.Prince said there, man.
One line that says it all and then captures the whole excerpt. It's a hate sentence, not justice. Now, no one is justifying what happened 46 years ago, 47 years ago. If Larry Hoover, in fact, committed murder, then Larry Hoover, like TK, deserved to sit down for a while. That's not what we're arguing. We're arguing the fact that does the punishment fit the crime? And in this society that we live in America, there's fucking laws in place to certain crimes that you commit and things that go into place. And if there happened to be a person of different color, a different race in that situation, like J.Prince just alluded to, hell, terrorist attacks on 9/11, the Unibomb, these people receive lesser sentencing than a man in Chicago that committed 1 murder that they got a hold of. Now, people can say that he was a gangster, he served drugs. Hey, listen, no one's condoning his past. But let's look at the punishment. And when you look at a young TK-47 and why this also isn't so cool, is because they don't give a damn about that person you shot, and they damn sure don't give a damn about you when they throw you away and lock away the key. You talked about the things that people don't see, people that don't glamorize, the 23 hours of lockdown, the food you can't eat, the women you can't see, just their lives or your life just being in the palm of their hand to do whatever the fuck they want you to do. That ain't no way for a man to live. And when you see Larry Hoover, Kanye West trying to get him out, the power that he can have on the street, they don't want him out at all. And he's a man that almost feels as though he knows the writing on the wall. He already knows his destiny. He knows that he's in there possibly for the rest of his life and some, and just got to learn from him, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, like when first thing and foremost, and when he talks about in the beginning, he says the destruction, the conspiracy to destroy our black leaders. You go back to the COINTELPRO when a lot of people, their first argument is, well, that was just a few bad cops. But it'll be my notion that is embedded into the psychology of all police officers, especially white ones. You know what I mean? And white people in general is survival, and everybody really, but survival of their race. Some people are, willing to go to any lengths for survival. Some people are not. But when you talk about, the black leaders and the destruction of the black leaders, it's like one thing the COINTELPRO said was they wanted to stop the rise of a black messiah. You know what I mean? Who can organize, who can militarize, who can electrify people. Anybody who was deemed a black leader who can organize people, get them together, get them moving, get them thinking different. They seen as a threat, period. Somebody like Larry Hoover, they seen what he was able to do in the street. Somebody like J.Prince, we did videos and stories. We talked about the feds being on him. Anybody who was influential, in this country, it seems like they try by any means necessary, whatever means they can, to destroy them under the system. So, when you got people like J.Prince who had agents trying to gun him down, kill him, set him up and all stuff like this, continuing to speak and say that it's real. And the fact that he got 6 life sentences, again, you made which is probably the biggest point of all. They don't want a guy like that on the street because it's cool. Again, if you're destroying your people and you're using your influence and your power and your leadership skills to destroy your people, but it's like, nah, all right, Larry Hoover, he did his time, he served it, sufficient. We can have an argument all day, but I think 46 is enough, me personally. But now this guy's using his influence now for positive, aka Nipsey. We all been there. And every time it seems like they do that, it's like, all right, let's try to destroy this dude because we don't want these people really waking up like that. We just want them to consume, want them to kill still, because they keep our pockets fat when they're consuming. They keep our pockets fat when they're in and out of jail too, because we own that. We own stocks in jails. And, it's just we can go on and so deep in this conversation all day long. But when people like J.Prince speak, we best listen. We best listen and take heed, man.
That's a fact. And I talked about it earlier, and I'm talking about it now. When J.Prince, I was talking about how important somebody like J.Prince is to social media. We talked about him and gave him some respected criticism when he talked about the chain situation with YNW. I forgot my young brother's name, but he Almighty J got his chain snatched, and J.Prince dropped that statement, and people were up in arms and saying everything, and we gave our criticism toward it. And one thing that I brought up was, you don't expect a brother like that to be on social media just being so open. He's usually the one that's tight to the vest. We all know the mentality that a brother like that lives under, and you just move in silence and do what you got to do, and ain't no talking. You just do it. I think that everything he said was genuine as hell, but I just thought that the move was kind of weird. But now that I think about it, it's like, where else are we going to see a conversation between J.Prince and Larry Hoover but on social media? Where else? We're not going to be able to see it on BT, MTV. They're not going to sit down with J.Prince and talk about him having a conversation with Larry Hoover. He jumped on his phone, on his social media platform, and gave us something that's powerful and something that we can talk on. So I love the fact now that I really, really sit back and think about it and how he's using his platform, and would love to sit down and talk to him about a whole different variety of things. Because like you said, when J.Prince talks, you best listen, because it's just a wealth of knowledge, and it's a wealth of just him going through shit. We're looking at him going through it and speaking it right out here for us to learn from. It's a shame what's going on with Larry Hoover. It's not going to be over. And if people don't get it together quick, the young rappers and the young brothers out here, it will continue to go down. When you think about the history of the police and why they were even created and brought to begin with, they weren't here to protect us. This shit weren't here to protect us at all.
And that's why it's like, man, it's crazy. Like when people don't want you to talk about what happened in history, they say you're just complaining. But let's just look real quick. Let's just go over a quick, history check over the leaders that were those type of leaders that were targeted. What happened to them? They ended up where? You know what I mean? Dead, killed. You know what I mean? Look at Fred Hampton. Look at Malcolm X. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at these people who were trying to enact some real change, right, wrong, or indifferent. May not agree with everything they said. But ultimately they was trying to do some good. You know what I mean? From if you study their speeches and everything. So it's just like these people end up dead, set up, and it just, to me, it doesn't stop. Because like when you talk about, again, the police, these are all families. These are all bloodlines. A lot of these police departments, and it's passed down, especially like the chiefs and stuff like that, and the lieutenants and stuff. That's all family, man. So, I don't know, man. I think that is what I love about America. And even though they try to cut us a lot, when we had a freedom of speech and we're able to have good commentary and talk about stuff like this in the open, because in some places you couldn't, you know what I mean? So I do like that about this country, man.
Yeah, that's a fact. And just to close it out real quick, I'm thinking about even some of the notorious gangsters that's been in prison, Al Capone, and just a whole bunch of different, and they live like kings in that prison. They wasn't sitting there in inhumane conditions and sitting there living like slaves and all the other nonsense that we're hearing. I mean, if you want to sit there and put gang leader, the founder of a gang on him, then why he ain't treated like a notorious mobster and like a notorious gangster? He's being treated like just a third world country motherfucker, and it's a shame, man. But hey, what can you do? Hopefully he can see the light of day and talk about it. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we could probably go on for this. Could be like a hour, 2 hour. You know what I mean? We could talk about Master P's brother, man, and even the conditions that he was in. We can keep going on and on
Yep.
about this, man.